participating. Welcome everyone. Thank you. And as you all know, we are offering the empowerment of the Herukas. Before we begin the ceremony of the empowerment, and it's part of the lineage teaching, there's instructions and introductions. You have to go through that. So I will give some introductions, and then we perform the ceremony or the empowerment. So that's what we will do. And again, of course, this empowerment teaching, this teaching comes from originally it started from the gracious teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, who came 2,600 years ago in this world, and he reached the enlightenment at age 35. And then after enlightenment, he started showing the will of Dharma until age 81, or until he entered Mahaparinirvana. Those all teachings are known as the three twinning well of Dharma, and together with it as the twinning well of Dharma of the Vajrayana teachings. So all those teachings. The Vajrayana teachings are not, he turned the well of Dharma at that time in the common world. But he gave the teaching, mostly teaching, the foundation teachings of the Buddhism. Buddhism he gave, and later he gave also Mahayana teaching. Even Sutra Mahayana teaching, he kept it secret, because it reveals the deep meaning of the reality, nature of the way everything's are. Both internal, inwardly nature, as well as exactly the arising appearance, exactly as his nature. And what that means? It means that entirely, because the first Buddha teaching, when he gave the teaching, he gave as a cause and effect, such as well-known teaching, Paul Noble Truth teaching. Paul Noble Truth teaching can be condensed in a simple way. It's teachings on the cause, condition, and the result. Everything what we see in the world, it has cause, and it will produce the result with the conditions. That's how it goes. Everything what we see in the world. In the same way, in Nirvana, everything has cause, and everything will produce the also result if we meet the perfect conditions and cause. So it's the cause and condition teachings, which externally cause and condition teaching of the way things are appearing, inwardly teachings on the way known as karma. Karma is nothing but teachings on the cause and effects of the way things do. Again, it has cause, it has effect, reality, nature. That's what really Buddha gives most of the teaching. Those are known as then more highlight the teaching of the 10 virtues teachings and 10 non-virtues teachings. Avoiding the 10 non-virtues and activating the 10 virtues activities, and that will bring great good karma or good result. That good karma means it will bring joy, peace, happiness and well-being, and bad karma means it will bring more sad, suffering, difficulties, and then troubles, misfortunes, all that. Everything, that is what. And then deep down, also if you continue to pray, it will develop beautiful next rebirth the teachings. Again, this is the teachings on what Buddha gave, the first teachings. Second turn of value of Dharma teaching, which is basically Mahayana teachings. Mahayana teaching is explaining of again, based on the foundation teaching, what Buddha already gave in the foundation teaching. Mahayana teaching is based on the foundation teachings. It's not different. It's the same teaching. But then extended, Buddha went one deeper levels, more deeper. What explaining? Then all these phenomena existing, even though they appeared as solid forms and it's very complex existing, but reality, nature is hallucination, is emptiness. Those are, we heard so many times, emptiness. Emptiness, because there's all these objects, everything what you see. See, reality level, they're like bubble, they're like mirage, they're like reflection, moon and water. Those are terminology used by the great teacher to explaining how things are. Reality is all it's just really like hallucination and a bubble like that. Even though in our eyes we see it's solid, form, even we see things that looks like performing, but that is, according to teaching, is because of due to the grasping, clinging. We grasping and clinging, then it becomes solid. Reality, it is really very translucent, soft, and mellow status. To prove that, it's very great masters, those who have high realization, achieve that perfect realization as it is. They go through walls, they're sitting in the sky, they perform all the activities in the air, and as transforming the water in the fire, fire in the waters. This is not that what many times we call is miracle activities, but in the teaching mentioned is not miracle, it's reality where things are. You can. Who did the miracles according to the eye of the Buddha? We are the magician. We ourselves, the duality consumption is the big magician. It created all things that is not really existing, not really lined up with the realities. It really changed it completely. So in that sense, we are the big magicians. We made everything in the kind of different sections and chapters, all that. But reality nature is flexible, pervasive, completely kind of like translucent status. Those are the really teaching status. So that is like teaching known as the Mahayana teachings. Then Mahayana teaching goes to deeper level, where the attitude of the mind is known as the bodhicitta. Kindness, the compassion thought for all living beings. I explained it strongly that, and that nature is the Mahayana teaching. And that is the second turning wheel of Dharma, which is known as the Panyaparamata teaching, mainly teachings on the Panyaparamata. Those who Buddha gave the teachings on the such as the Vajra mountain or the northern India, and as well as in other locations Buddha gave the teachings. And then third turning wheel of Dharma is Buddha explaining more deeper level. Now going to the more deeper level of the everyone's the mind, nature of the mind. In the Buddhism, we all know, we all heard this so many times, there is rebirth. Life is not ended when we die this time. It will continually. What will continue at that time? Our consciousness, our mind. The invisible mind is going to continue. And what is going to continue? With all whatever the habit pattern we collected with this mind, whatever we can register with our mind, that will continue. But the deep down nature of the mind, the potential of the mind is the enlightenment nature, enlightenment of Buddha nature. That's the Buddha nature. What is that Buddha nature? It's loving kindness, compassion, wisdom. That is really the Buddha nature. So Buddha explained all in the third turning wheel of Dharma that every living being has this nature. Same nature what Buddha himself has. No difference in that nature. That is in the Mahayana teaching, third turning wheel of Dharma, and all the way to Vajrayana teaching and the Dzogchen teaching. It's the same statement that everyone has the same beautiful richness, quality of nature of the mind. It's just waiting us. Even in the midst of the samsara world, when we are all difficult trouble, but this enlightenment nature, Buddha nature, is guiding us all the time. What that means? Our love, compassion, wisdom, even we as a completely covered with all the ego, clinging, self-important, habit pattern, yet it's coming out the power, that power and light of the Buddha nature, guiding us with love, kindness, compassion. Everyone appreciated love and compassion. Everyone. No one is excluded. Everyone really appreciates, because that is the deep nature of everyone's nature. And together with that, wisdom, intelligence, smartness, skillful means, all that is nature there. So that is, then Buddha gave that teaching in the third turning wheel of Dharma and extended that in the Vajrayana teachings. So today's our teaching, what we're going to go through is the Vajrayana teachings. Buddha gave the Vajrayana teaching, this Vajrayana teaching is also known as result Dhyana teachings. Those Mahayana teachings, Sutra Mahayana teachings, and then the Pandega teaching, all are known as causal yanas. I think many of you already know that. Causal jhana and result jhanas. Why use that terminology? Because our goal is to reach the enlightenment, to discover the innate natures. In the foundation to Buddha teaching, you kind of prepare the preparation, and to get enlightenment or to get realization takes time. It's coming. You're working with the cause. You're working with the condition, trying by the good cause, good condition. So then we'll get achievement and realizations. So then get the realization comes later. So that means you're working with the cause and the conditions. And result jhana is the Vajrayana teaching. You're working with the, immediately you are like actualizing the result, achievement. That is called result jhana. What that means? You are actualizing, for example, Vajrayana teaching, immediately we visualize ourselves as a Buddha. Meditation. We're not waiting to become the Buddha. We become instantly, through the power and the skillful means, we transformed ourselves as Buddhas, the visualization. When we transform the Buddhas, at that time, not just we become the Buddha, but environment, all this universal world we are, is also become the pure land. So ourself is the Buddha, and our place where we are visualizing, that is the pure land. So that is really the environment of the Buddhas, or enlightened beings. So immediately we actualizing that realization, that understanding. Actualized, therefore, is known as the result jhanas. Immediately you achieving the final goal of the journey, actualized immediately that. And of course that is through skillful means. Still we have to walk continually with courage and commitment, joy and devotion and determination to actualize, to stabilize that. But immediately really we actualize that. That's what's called result jhana. So Vajrayana is the result jhana teachings, and today what we are going to give, this teaching is connected with result jhana teaching, which is known as mantra jhana teaching, Tantra teachings. That. And within the Vajrayana teaching, there are two groups of the teachings. That I know many of you already know these things. But in the teaching mentioned, we should highlight those things, even you already knew that. Because we are remembering of the gracious kindness of these lineage masters. They continue to carry this teaching from 2,600 years ago until now, where today we reconnect that ourselves to that teachings. So therefore, highlight of the where we really belongs, where we comes, where we connected this. Yeah, so that's why really in the teaching mentioned, we should mention Tantras. So, what I give. And these teachings, in that level, and then so this, the Vajrayana teaching. The Vajrayana teaching has two groups. And the outer Tantra, inner Tantras, those called. Outer Tantra, this is the three teachings. Teachers known as Kriya Tantra, Yoga Tantra, and Kriya Tantra, Upa Tantra, and Yoga Tantra. Three Tantra teachings. And inner Tantra, Mahayoga, Anu Yoga, and Ati Yoga teachings. Particularly this teaching is known as the inner Tantra teachings. It's today what we're going to offer the empowerment. At Herukas teaching, on the 9 Herukas teaching, is the inner Tantra teaching. Inner Tantra has the three teachings, Mahayoga, Anu Yoga, and Ati Yogas. Those are the teachings. Three inner Tantra teachings. In the Nyingma schools of Tibetan Buddhism, always explaining three lineage teachings. Mind-to-mind lineage, and symbolic transmission lineage, and oral transmission lineage. So these inner Tantra teachings are transmitted through the through lineages. Mind-to-mind transmission lineage. In the Dharmakaya, Buddha give the teachings to all the display of the Dharmakaya rationals, give the teachings of the mind-to-mind transmission lineage without the word and without any labels and symbols, and expounded teaching. Completely, utterly, of everything transmitted, and that's known as mind-to-mind transmission lineages. All all these ratios, teachers and ratios are almost really saying nothing big different, but yet transmitted the teaching completely without the word, without any symbolic gestures. Give the teaching. That is the mind to mind transformation lineage in the pure land of Akanishtas. Akanishta is a Sanskrit word which is beyond the conception. Land which is beyond conception. Or pure land, that which is beyond the conception. And that pure land, Dharmakaya Buddha gave to all the ratios which is inseparable from his own wisdom, or his or her own wisdom displays. Okay. And then the second turning wheel of the Dharma is known as the symbolic transmission lineage. This is also in a way that happened in the pure land of Upanishads, and as well as then with the Sambhogaya Buddhas. They expanded again all the 5 Dhyana Buddhas. From the Sambhogaya Buddha, such as the Buddha Vajradhara, all the Vajrasattva expounded with the entire teaching to the sign, symbols, the gestures, or just the Buddha smiled, or just the Buddha did come emanating some lights, beams of light. And that moment, they received entirety, because those ratios are also highly enlightened beings, enlightened states. Therefore, they don't have to go through the details, this and that. Moment they are, when they are all in that perfect status, transmitted the teaching spontaneously, just through the sign and the symbols and the gestures, everything. And that is really known as like symbolic transmission lineage. And then other transmission lineage is from the Buddha, such as Buddha Vajrapanis, or the Vajradharas, or Vajrasattvas. And that's in the teaching mentioned that is the Buddha Shakyamuni came 2,600 years, as he said, he gave the Vajrayana teaching in higher levels in the different realms, not really expounded Vajrayana teaching in this human world. But just before entering Buddha Mahaparinirvana, many great masters and bodhisattvas said, Buddha, you did not give the teachings of the Vajrayana teaching. You give more kind of causal teachings and the Mahayana teaching, but you did not give the Vajrayana teachings. And some of those said that. And Buddha said, and I gave those teachings in the different pure lands already there, but when the time comes, time is ready, this teaching will appear soon in this world. That's what Buddha said. And before he entered Mahaparinirvana. So according to the lineage teaching, his story, and 23 years after Buddha's Mahaparinirvana, then in the southern India, or there is called the Meteorite Mountains. Meteorite Mountain, there is 4 excellent Vajradharas, highly realized beings, appeared in that mountains. Mountain come together, and they saw the greatest teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, physical form is entered Mahaparinirvana. Now there is no really beacon of light existing. The whole 3 universe or the world is become dark. Who will dispel these darknesses? And they say those words, 27 different kind of. No, I think maybe I'm mixed up, sorry. 27 years after Buddha's Mahaparinirvana, they came and then they made 23 statements and those yearning statements. And that moment, Vajrapani appeared in the sky and gave then the inner Tantra teachings. Inner Tantra teaching, particularly Mahayoga teachings. Inner Tantra teaching means Mahayoga, Anu Yoga, and Adi Yoga teachings. So the Vajrayana give them that teachings. Particularly among them, among the five the Vidyadharas, or excellent Vidyadharas, so that there is called the Vidyadhara of the cannibals. It's not cannibal, but it's just a client used the name as cannibal. Simple Lodi Tabdi in Tibet. A very powerful, skillful means of the master, Lodi Tabdi. Tabdi, he wrote all the teachings in the lapis lazuli paper with the gold ink and hidden to the sky with the 7 powers. 7 powers of the realization hidden to discover these teachings. And that moment then you predicted that it will be discovered and will happen soon. Soon this teaching will be discovered. As he predicted, then as mentioned, and that happened about the group of the Khenpo, and which is Eastern Tibet. Sorry, not Eastern Tibet. Tibet is Eastern India, Sahara. So then this Khenpo, see on the roof, all the Mahayoga teachings appeared, or came, or descended in the teachings. And then he practiced, meditated, particularly practiced, he saw among the Mahayoga Tantra, he saw there is called Vajrasattva Tantras. Particularly to practice on Vajrasattva, he practiced on the Vajrasattva practices, and then he received. He saw Vajrasattva in the face-to-face and received the entire teaching, and that's how then these Vajrayana teachings how descended to the human world. Human world as like oral transmission lineage from the teacher to the student as oral transmission lineage. So that is really about the explaining of the how this teaching come to this world, Vajrayana teaching, and then soon after all the other Vajrayana teachings came too, such as Kriya Tantra, Yoga Tantra, Upa Tantra. Those are 3 outer tantras, and as well as then all the Anu Yoga teachings, Adi Yoga teachings, all those really came one after another, appeared in the world, and not just a so big group level, but very selected small group level that appeared to this world. So that is really how this how the teaching came to this world. And now this particular Mahayoga teaching has 2 group teachings. That is known as the Tantra aspect of the Mahayoga teaching and the practice aspect of the Mahayoga teachings. Tantra aspect of the Mahayoga teaching is about there is the 18 Mahayoga Tantras and the root of the Mahayoga Tantra, as well as all the inner Tantras such as Anu Yoga Tantra and Adi Yoga Tantra, often said this Guhyagarbha teaching, which is translated in English too, is very well known teaching, very famous teaching. That is Guhyagarbha Tantra, the root of all the Mahayoga teaching, not just only the Mahayoga teaching, but Anu Yoga, Adi Yoga teaching. Because in the teaching said, Mahayoga is the foundation of the teaching, Anu Yoga is a part of the teaching, and Adi Yoga is the result of the teaching. So all the Anu Yoga and Adi Yoga teachings are really founded or based on the Mahayoga teachings. So that's how it is. And now this Mahayoga teaching, as I said, there's 2 groups. The Tantra section of the teaching and the practice aspect of the teaching. Drupdi in the Tibet called Juddhi and Drupdi. Juddhi means Tantra section teachings. And that is Mahayoga, such a teaching of all the Tantra teaching of the Mahayoga, including famous Guhyagarbha teachings. That. And the second one is the practice aspect of the Mahayoga teachings. So both are now transmitted by the oral transmission lineage. Oral transmission lineage generally, always in the teaching mentioned, it contains all 3 lineages. It contains the blessing of the mind-to-mind transmission lineage. It contains also symbolic transmission lineage, and then of course oral transmission lineage. Oral transmission lineage from the master to the teacher, as teacher to the next student lineage order, or from the practitioner to practitioner, and receive the teaching with joy in devotion, determination, courage, commitment, and the preservation of the teaching. And that means, what means preservation? Means keep that practice in the heart, actualize that realization, and share that to the others when the time comes or ready or qualified to teach. That is called preservation of teaching. You're keeping up the three sides, the academic of the scriptural lineage aspect, and as well as practice realization aspect of lineage. Both are the lineage. Both are so important. Both are like eyes, like two eyes, are so equally important to preservation. So these are two lineages that preserve it. And now this particularly, the Tantra aspect of teaching is continually, there's a long lineage history to continue to until now. I mean, all those great masters really came to Tibet and continue now. That is the Tantra aspect. The practical lineage aspect of this Vajra teaching is then this is slightly different. And that is in the teaching says that practice aspect of lineage teaching is from the Buddha Vajra Kundazambo or the Vajra Sattva transmitted to the what's known as Lady One, the action lady or Lady One. And she hidden this entirely that teaching in the channel ground known as the Seva Sarjika to all core group GROVE, I think core group channel grounds, which is this modern times or according to Guhyagarbha somebody life liberation or life story also indicating that's not so far from Buddha Gaya. So it's about 5 kilometers or 6 kilometers from the northeast, I think, is Buddha Gaya, I think, northeast. I don't know exactly, I think, but that direction, there is that really modern time identifying that is a well-known kind of like holy place. Even the Indians said, and many times, many pilgrims went there, and when I was also in the 1960s, I had the opportunity with my gracious teacher, Rinpoche, and my father, we all went there to do the pilgrimage. Even we stayed there, they like to spend one night in the morning. We stayed. Many people say that it's not good it's danger to stay there overnight. But then many people we heard stayed there too. So then we stayed there too. One night, father and King decided to stay there. So we stayed there night, and we went there. So that day really identifying that place as the core group channel ground places, and which is a very special place. So in that place, that Lady Wamo hidden, there's called Choti Devji Stupa, and stupa known as Devji Stupa, and she hidden. And that's that time, around that time, 8 great masters come together without spontaneously, without kind of like organized, spontaneously came together and meditated. Those 8 great masters, the 8 great Vidyadharas of the 8 Herukas, and such as, and the names of those 8 Vidyadharas are, first is Hunkara, or I mean, it's just a number, but it's not some person, second order, they're all same realizations, all highly enlightened Vidyadharas. So Hunkara, and Manjushri Mitra, and Nagarjuna Garbha, and Parva Hasta, and as well as Rombo Guhi, Dana Santita, and Shende Garbha. How many now? 7 or 8? 7. Shende Garbha, and Bamal Matra. So those are the 8 Vidyadharas. And then together there is also called Ngurupema Sammo. That makes 9 Vidyadharas, 9 Vidyadharas. So they all meditated that. In that stupa, Devjitapa stupa in the teaching says, during the daytime it is smoking, very smoking, that is. And the night time is blazing. So then they thought, what is this? And they saw the treasure of the 8 Heruka teachings within there. So they asked, request to Khandro Rakini Leje Wamo give that teaching. And she handed over those teachings. So it is at Vedas. There is a very special locket, which of all the jewels, like locket of all the jewels, lockets. And that she didn't give immediately. So that is 9. There's a 9. And that is then Guru Pema Sambhava received. So that is known as central teaching or the embodiment teaching of all the 8 Heruka teachings. So they received that teaching. And the teaching says, so each of them received that all teaching, they practice, they meditate, actualize their realization, they become the master of the 8 Heruka practices. 8 Heruka practices, including 9 practices, that Khenpo Heruka practices. So those are the how teachings. So the Guru Pema Sambhava gave this, what he received, embodiment, the teaching to the 8 Vidyadharas, and from 8 Vidyadharas, also Guru Pema Sambhava received their designated teaching to Guru Pema Sambhava. So that way, the Guru Pema Sambhava is holder of the all 8 lineage, 8 Heruka teaching. So that's the how, really explaining how the 8 Heruka teaching came to this human world, how they actualized. And then when Guru Pema Sambhava came to Tibet in the 8th century, and then one of the first teaching, his story said, one of his first teaching, he gave the 8 Heruka teaching, not in the palace, and give that teaching in the Samye Chimpu caves. And also some historians, the Guru Pema Sambhava gave that Samye has 3 floors. Samye monastery has 3 floors. In the 3rd floor, top floor, Guru Pema Sambhava gave that teachings too. So that means that when Samye is completely built, and that after that, Guru Pema Sambhava gave these teachings. But many historians say he gave that teaching in the cave of the Samye on the mountain for 9 students at that time. And who are the 9 students? Those are 25, among the 25 disciples from Guru Pema Sambhava, and that 9 students. And then again, those 9 students are first, we just count as Khenpo Devi, who was the devoted disciple of Guru Pema Sambhava, and as well as also lineage holder of the Guru Pema Sambhava. And so first is Khenpo Devi. Second is again Namkwe Khenpo. Not Namkwe Khenpo. Namkwe Khenpo is all here. Namkwe Khenpo. And third is then Yaran Chowi. Yaran Chowi, which has some in the head, somewhere has a horse head on, and is fully ordained monk too. Fully ordained monk, one of the first selected test monks of the Tibetan Buddhism. He said one of the very first monks of the Yaran Chowi. And third is then not third maybe. Now the next one is Sangye Yeshi. Sangye Yeshi, Nupchi Sangye Yeshi. And third, and I think that's the fourth. And the 5th one is Yeshin Soja. Yeshin Soja, and the 6th one is Droma Pati Yeshi. That is maybe you don't heard, but is here. Droma Pati Yeshi. And next one is Lanchi Pati Sengi. Lanchi Pati Sengi. And the next one is Berochana. Berochana, I think that's 9, right? 8, 9, and now Jagan Chowi, Yishin Soja. Nampo we said?
Nakshana Kumara.
Oh, Nyanyana Kumara, it's true. Nyanyana Kumara. Next one is Nyamjana Kumara. So that is 9 students of the Guru Masamba who received those teachings. They practice this, the practice of the Herukas teachings, and they all actualize the realization, and they have mastered Vidyadas, 9 Vidyadas of the Tibet. There's 9 Vidyadas of the India, and 9 Vidyadas of the Tibet, and these are the 9 Vidyadas of the Tibetans. So those are the how. And then teaching is continuous. And when is teaching continuous from Tibet, and then as I said yesterday, I think many of you know that teaching continues as 2 principal channels, particularly in my teaching. Karma teaching and Dharma teachings, or Karma lineage, Dharma lineage, 2 lineage teachings. And the Dharma teachings are then continued by discovered or hidden by the Guru Masamba, with many other great masters teaching this hidden and discovered by them one after another. And that is the earliest one, the Dharma teaching is around 11th century, and known as Samye Lama. He was the first great Tetung, and continued until now. There are so many great Tetungs came one after another until now. And almost every those Tetungs also has Herukas teachings, one after another discovered. So that is really how the Herukas teachings continued until now through the Karma lineage and as well as Dharma lineage. And now, so particularly this lineage, and this is particularly teaching that which is discovered by great, again, enlightened beings in the Tetung and region Dongyal Masamba, known as Jabji the New Rinpoche. Many of you met, we all met opportunity. He was really, one of the renowned great masters and predicted by the Guru Masamba. Guru Masamba predicted in the 8th century, upcoming of the 20th century great Tetung, his region, Guru Masamba predicted. Guru Masamba predicted his exactly time, location, and the place where he will be born, and what he will do during when he is a Guru, how uphold the teaching of the Guru Masamba himself over the teaching. As in the teaching said, this emanation will reveal the new Dharma, but at the same time re-strengthening of the old Dharmas. That means all great teaching will re-strengthen and uphold that teaching. As exactly Guru Masamba predicted, his Holiness the Rinpoche did that. Really. He revealed his Dharma, his own Dharma teaching, that which is designated God from Guru Masamba, Basrundakini, because he revealed those teachings. And then he also glorified, uplifted, re-strengthened the lineage of the many ancient Tetungs teachings brought up together. So this teaching, what we're today going to receive the teaching or I'm offering empowerment, is teaching is the re-glorified teaching, brought all teachings together as one single practices. So this is the Herukas teaching, and the teaching says this is the teaching is combined with the Herukas Dharma teachings by 9 great Tetungs put together as one teachings, one practice lineage. So this is the 9 Tetungs teaching combined together as this teaching. That's what. And this is what are those 9 Tetungs? 9 Tetungs. First one, the 8 Herukas teaching, Dharma teachings, generally very famous. The first great Tetung known as the Jnana Nyama Oza, who came around the same time of the Atisha came to Tibet. In the teaching says that maybe even he came before the Atisha, but when Atisha came, that time he already entered Mahaparinirvana. So the Jnana Nyama Oza came really long time ago, I think 11th century maybe. And his Dharma teachings he is known as king of the Tetungs. He was known as one of the king of the Tetungs. And he discovered all Herukas teach practices, that which is known as personal copy of the King Tsewang deities. Personal copy of the King Tsewang deity. He had his own book written, and that teaching he able to discover. In the teaching said, Yeshin Soja came in a human form and with the white mule and the horse and donkey combination, that mule, right? Yeah, mule, white mule, and overloaded 3 luggages with mule and handed it to the Nyara Nyama also. And when he discovered, looked at that, is teachings of the entirely at Herukas teaching. Kabji Deking Dipa. That's really very well-known teachings. So this is Nyara Nyama also is the king of the Tetungs. He was also known as the emanation of the King Tsewang deity. King Tsewang deity, of course, externally he was great king, ruler, but inwardly he got realization. He really achieved the highest realization, like King and the Buddhist. In Buddhism, in Vajrayana teaching, often King and the Buddhist, or in the Shambhala kings. They are the rulers, but they are rich enlightenment. They become the Buddha. King Tsewang deity was very devoted to Guhyagarbha, and received all the teachings. He dedicated his life in royal everything to bring the Dharma. That's what we have the opportunity to practice the Dharma. We have reach of the Buddhism in the Tibetans because his dedication and determination. He bought. And as he was that, and he saw, because so close disciple of the also great master Chendaraki too. He wrote so many books, often in teaching says, my divine teacher known as great bodhisattvas. Through he learned so many, he wrote so many books, and which are in the Dongyal now, in the Tibetan Dongyal section, all his works. So scholarly level, Khenpo was a great scholar, but realization level, he was great enlightened beings. He was the master of the Chencho Herukas, among the 8 Herukas. It is it. So he was also had so keen love to the Tibetans. And each time in the Dharma teaching, he asked Guhyagarbha how this Tibetan will be in the future. And he also said that so many times, how the Buddha teaching will remain in this soil. Because he made so much effort, so much trouble. I mean, really, he went through so many things. Often asked, you read the books of the Dharma teaching, often. And Guhyagarbha somebody predict often, or this will happen, this will happen. Because his kindness and compassion thought, that as he got the realization, he had the opportunity, he also emanated so many great tetungs. Those great tetungs are known as like the body emanation of the consciousness of deity is the Nyara Nyama also. And the speech emanation of the consciousness of deity is known as Guru Chijawasa, another famous tetungs. And the speech, the mind emanation of the Guru consciousness of deity known as Ngari Pend, the Pema Bengaja, the famous the tetung and master who wrote 3 vows is translated into English at the summary, that masters. And then quality aspect of the emanation of Khenpo deity known as Chanda Trashi Tobya. Maybe you didn't hear that many times, but very famous text at that. And the activity emanation of the Khenpo deity is the 5th Dalai Lama. 5th Dalai Lama himself he discovered so many Dharma teaching and mentioned in there, and as well as the Dharma teaching of the many others, the emanation of the King Tsewang deity will come and rule the Tibetans, and that is recognized as the 5th Dalai Lama, and again great master Tetung Mendole Terdalangwa, on his Dharma teaching also said that Pit Dalai Lama is the activity emanation of the Tantras. And the teaching said that all the emanations, the body, speech, the mind, every emanations is then the great Chenzi who came in the 19th century. Great Chenzi is the emanation, the combined emanation, and the holder of all the lineage teachings of the Buddhism, and then the really crown jewel of all the masters in a way, that Pastor Chenzi, the great Chenzi, is also known as emanation of the Tantras of Deity. So those are, so that is. The first, this at Herukas teaching, first one is now this at Herukas teaching, 9 of the teaching combined together is. First one is the Nyara Nyima Waza. Second one is Guru Chuji Wamso. That is grade, third grade, second grade Tetum. Third grade Tetum is then Godamji. Rinpoche Godamji, Northern School, the founder created that who founded known as Northern School, Northern Temples. That which is also part of his revelation is the Kundazapu prayer of Kundazapu that he revealed. The third one, and then the third one, and then fourth one is and the fourth one is the great Tetum known as Dorje Lampa. And which is the emanation of the Vajrayana, famous emanation of the Vajrayana. And the fifth one is known as the great Tetum Samti Dechi Lampa. So those are 5 great Tetums. And the next one, sixth one is then Jatsung Nyingpo. Jatsung Nyingpo, and that's very famous Jatsung Nyingpo. And the next one is the great master Longsan Nyingpo. And now I'm really missing one. And maybe I look here. Sorry. No, I forgot to say. For first one, instead of Dorje Lampa, the first, instead of Dorje Lampa, you put Pema Lampa. Pema Lampa, which is a very famous emanation of the Lungkipa or the Lada Pemas, and very famous Tetum. Tetum, and particularly, and very teachings are very popular in Bhutan area. Is teachings popular all over Tibet, very famous. So that is the fourth. So that on the fifth group, first group, I said 5. And the next one is then Dorje Longpa, next one, and then Jatsung Nyingpo, and then Longsan Nyingpo, and the fourth one is then Pema Hosa Nohan Longpa, great person Chenzi, commonly known as the person Chenzi. So those are the 4 great, last grade, and all that 9 together is called 9th grade Tetum, and that teaching, Dharma teaching, the Herukas teaching, combined together by His Holiness the Rinpoche. That is, so this is what really I'm going to offer you the empowerment of this. And this the small sadhana we have that, And this fourth one is recorded by his quite three disciples of his own, the first quite three disciples, and then he wrote that there is two versions, larger versions of this teaching as well as a small version, condensed version of the teaching. The first one is recorded by the many students together, and then as well as his own, which he combined together all these technical practices. Condensed of that teaching, what we able to publish it or translate it into English, and that is then recorded by His Holiness Rinpoche, the great master who came also. I mean, whenever you've been met, he recorded that teaching and then asked to do it. And as his record of the first stage, His Holiness Rinpoche and the Jabje Dongyal wrote or combined that together. So that is how that teaching is. So that is really now about the teaching of the lineage teaching, and then I received this teaching from His Holiness Dongyal entire. Not just me, many students really received that teaching. I was also part of it. I received this teaching, and as well as also I received this empowerment teaching from Khenpo Rinpoche, and as I received, and then I'm offering this teaching. So that is really about the lineage story, and then empowerment is of course in Vajrayana teaching is so important. Without the empowerment and the practice is, when you practice the sadhana, is not going to actualize the realization exactly as you wish. So therefore, if you would like to do practice strongly, and the teaching always mentioned, you should receive the empowerment, that transmission, and of course, together with some instructions on that. Those are really so important. Those are the three all the important things. And now we go the teaching and a little more. Then there's some preparations, and then go over there and then talk this more about the empowerment afterward. And so now that is really about the history of the lineage teaching of this. And now we go to the empowerment. And before we do, we do